This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
We begin with breaking news in Clayton, where major case squad detectives have just identified a suspect in a homicide. Trinell Johnson is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. He is not in custody. Johnson is accused of killing Joshua Harris early Monday morning. Police sources tell us Harris was shot interrupting a car theft on Wydown early Monday. Investigators believe this was a random act and the two men did not know each other. Johnson was charged with tampering with a vehicle in May and was out on bond. If you see him, call 911.
Faith leaders were back in court today arguing against Missouri's abortion ban. It was the latest chapter in their months-long battle to get the ban overturned. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. Our Justina Cornell has been following this case. She was in the courtroom today and joins us live from downtown St. Louis. Justina.
Yeah, I'm told today's hearing is a critical step because based on today's arguments, the judge could continue the case or end it.
Tracy Blackman et al. Versus State of Missouri et al.
Battling over abortion bans. An 11-month fight continues in court Thursday.
They sued us back in January, and here we were to defend the abortion laws.
Five on Your Side was there when 14 clergy members announced a lawsuit against the state of Missouri over restrictions on abortion services.
Today's hearing, however, the court will just be ruling on a motion by the state. And so we'll find out next year whether this case will be proceeding.
The clergy members and their attorneys argue that the ban violates the state's commitment to the separation of church and state.
We hope that the court will recognize that this was clearly the intent and purpose of the legislature to impose their religious beliefs on everyone in Missouri by passing this abortion ban.
But the state's attorneys are against that argument.
Because some religious people are pro-life, then the pro-life laws can't stand. But it's also the case that there are, in the 10 Commandments, there are laws or commandments against theft, there are commandments against other things like that. It's always going to be the case that there are some religious people who agree with whatever law you have on the books. So if that's a standard, then you can't have a single law ever. That's a recipe for anarchy.
Divided by their differences, both sides agree they are feeling confident.
It really is telling that they're trying to bring this in state court under the state constitution, because it's under the federal constitution, it's a completely frivolous argument. They're trying to repackage this under the state constitution. We don't think it's going to work.
We are optimistic that the court will agree that it is inappropriate to dismiss the case at this early stage in the proceedings.
Now, the judge said that he won't have an answer until after the holidays, most likely in January. No matter what the judge decides, we expect either side to appeal. Reporting in downtown St. Louis, Justina Cornell, 5 on Your Side.
The United Auto Workers Union has approved a new deal with General Motors. That's according to an informal tally of votes from across the country. The agreement comes as members at several plants, including the one here in Wentzville, voted against it. 5 on Your Side's Diamond Palmer is live in Wentzville. And Diamond, what did the members tell you today?
Well, and United Auto Workers here in Wentzville tell me that they are actually waiting on the national union to come forward with the results of this vote. They tell me this could come tonight, tomorrow, or even Monday.
I'm just glad to be back at work.
Richard Adams is a regular at Duke's Barbecue Shack. He's back for the first time in a while today. Adams says when General Motors in Wentzville went on strike, he was out of a job at Lear Automotive, a company that makes seats for GM vans and trucks.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money. It kind of put a hold on everything, so bills and everything. I just had to depend on unemployment.
Adams says his struggles have come to an end now that GM Wentzville is no longer on strike. Thursday, according to a poll tracker on the union's website, 55% of UAW workers ratified a contract with General Motors. It comes despite members at Wentzville plant voting it down on Wednesday. Members at local UAW 2250 declined to comment, but told 5 on Your Side that voting could be finalized tonight, tomorrow, or Monday. The new contract would give a 25% increase in base wage through April 2028. It will raise the top wage by 33% with cost of living adjustments to over $40 an hour. Peter Venetia owns Duke's Barbecue Shack and says since then business has returned to somewhat normal ever since last month's tentative agreement.
We've seen a lot of people coming back from the sub-suppliers of GM. As soon as it happened and they all went back to work, all the other companies that support GM were ordering food from us, and we're seeing a lot of familiar faces come back.
Venetia says his restaurant caters many lunches and dinners for GM Wentzville workers, and he's just glad to see them getting what they worked for.
So it's good all around for them to make more money. It all comes back into the community, and it's going to work out well.
Now, as for Ford, voting will continue until this Saturday, where only 2 large factories still need to cast their vote. And as for Stellantis workers, already 67% of those union members have voted for this new contract, with only 3 large plants needing to still vote. Reporting live here in Wentzville, Diamond Palmer, 5 on your side.
Workers at 200 Starbucks stores across the country, including 8 here in the St. Louis area, walked off the job today, all part of an ongoing effort to unionize stores. The walkout happened on Red Cup Day. Starbucks is giving away reusable cups for holiday drinks. Employees accused the company of refusing to bargain with baristas over staffing and scheduling. A spokesperson for Starbucks said Workers United had not agreed to meet for contract talks in more than 4 months. They called on the union to, quote, fulfill its obligations ahead of the holiday season. New at 6, what is this? And what was it doing in a container of macaroni and cheese?
That's what an Illinois mom wants to know, and she's had no luck getting any answers. Here's 5 on your side's Tracy Hinson.
Oh my God, what is this? I started to scoop it out, and it's the exact same color as the cheese. So I actually took the fork initially to try to smash it, to blend it, thinking that the cheese hadn't melted in the microwave. And when I realized that it wasn't smashing, that's when I said, what in the world is this?
It's the size of a large gumball. It's squishy. It has a chemical smell.
It may be a part of a machine in the assembly line. I don't know. What I do know is that it is not cheese.
So you found an object, maybe like the mac and cheese eyeball. What do you do next? Who do you call?
The Bob Evans number that's on the website, it takes you in a cyclical race. It is unsuccessful. It tells you to hit 3, and then when you hit 3, it disconnects.
That's what happened when I called too. She then went to where she bought the macaroni and cheese.
Redirected me to Bob Evans. Bob Evans, somebody at Bob Evans redirected me to the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce redirected me to Bob Evans. I was then directed to the USDA. I've been directed to the health department. I have reached out to everybody that I can think of.
She wants someone to take action.
What I found is a major choking hazard for not just a kid, because I have a 7-year-old, but for adults too. It's a major choking hazard. My story could have been so much different, and mistakes happen. I get that. It's an assembly line. But when they do happen, my expectation is that I get the attention that it deserves, and that I get some sort of response. There was no sense of urgency, and they have been passing the ball.
Tracy Hinson, 5 on your side.
And Tracy asked Bob Evans for help directing Rebecca to the right person. She hasn't gotten a response. And Tracy also left a message for the Illinois Department of Public Health and has not yet heard back.
Coming